Hello everybody, today I'm going to speak about the lines in the sphere of the pearl, in the golden path. And I would like to start explaining to you in a simple way how I see the pearl. The pearl is the essence, it's your essence. And if we would go up on a cloud and look down on your life, this is the signature that we would see. This is the two words, the word from the key and the word from the line. This is what we would see. This is the signature. This is your essence. This is what your life is about. This is what we were saying is the holy grail. It's that one thing that kind of everything is showed in that one position. And when we speak about the star pearl, we are seeing 7 other spheres that are informing that one essence place. And why do I say 7? Because actually the star pearl is going to be made up of one evolution triangle, which is life's work, and then the culture and the vocation in the bottom. And then we have the involution that is going to be Uranus, Mercury, and Saturn. So that's only 6 planets. But there is this mystical truth, what I've been speaking about too the last years. The very bottom of that star, it's not one sphere, it's 2 spheres. So we have Saturn and Venus on the design side together. The SQ and the stability are in the same position in the bottom. That's the kind of nest that is holding that whole star pearl, that whole vehicle that is going to be a vehicle or transportation for us for multidimensionality. So it's super exciting, and that's also the seed energy, the Saturn and the Venus, because it has to do with the feminine, the masculine, the sacred union, that seed energy that's yours, and that somehow it has so much to do with the essence. So it's so much connected to that pearl that is bright in the middle. So basically in the star pearl, we have all these corners of the star, all these 7 activations that are informing that pearl in different ways. And there are pathways and there are flow ways. Actually, we look both at the more, masculine, you could say, or left brain ways of connecting the different spheres and having triangles actually on different places. You can have triangles, so many different triangles in the star pearl, but it's also flow ways. So there's a more feminine way as well to move around inside the star pearl. So it's super exciting. And today we're going to focus on that very middle part, your essence, your signature, your holy grail. And we're going to speak about the lines and understand what that means. Every time when we speak about the sphere, or any time I actually speak about any activation, I speak about the Hexagrams Factor, which is what you see here, right? It's always 6 lines. It has that structure. The first trigram, the first 3 lines are individual, and the 3 next line, the upper trigram, they are transpersonal or collective. And that's kind of how the universe is built. That's the architecture that we can use to explain almost anything. So that's why it's important to look at the first line, at the foundational energy for anything, because the other lines, the other tones, you could say, in a sphere, in an activation, are building on that foundational energy. And since the foundational energy is there, they don't need to focus on that. And the same thing if you're a third line, you don't have to focus on the 1 and the 2, but they're there, so, but you don't see them in the way it plays out so much because you're focused on where you are, the other things already included. So that's part of the understanding of the hexagram structure. So let's start with the first line. So the first line in the pearl is simplicity. And it goes together with being the foundational energy, 1 before there were 2. So before relationship, almost, it's like being focused on the self, being focused on the one thing. These people are good at doing one thing at a time. It's also really good for you to take out the clutter, take out what doesn't serve in your life. Actually come down to what really matters to you. And often it can be something physical, because the first line is the densest. It's really what kind of builds with the hands. So it's something that is probably tangible. It's something that you can really immerse yourself in, something that you can investigate, something that's really important for you. And to focus on that, to give yourself the opportunity to not be scattered, but to come down to what matters and to throw the other things out. And this has to do with empowerment, which is the key word for when we speak about life's work and evolution. in line 1. You are here to create, and you're going to have to immerse yourself in order to know what you want to create. And once you know that, it's quite simple. It's not that it's actually going to come from inside of you and out in the world, and it's going to empower you. So you can really see how that sphere in the middle of the Pearl sequence is so connected to the life's work and the evolution. And then we have the second line. So here we are now, if we would speak about it as chakras as well, because that's what we can do with Hexagram structure too, we're now in the Cycle Chakra. So if the first one was earth and the grounding and the densest, now we are in the watery. So the second line, we call it recognition. And here I actually want to mention, because if you're into human design, for me, there is a lot of similarities here with a projector aura or a projector. How we say that projectors are here to be recognized, they're here to be invited and recognized. And it's similar with the second line, because the second line in human design is the hermit, and it's the dancer in the gene keys. And the dancer is going to be invited. Many people are going to knock on the door and want to dance, but it's not natural for the second line to dance with everybody. So it's going to be selective in that sense, and it's only going to do what feels natural, what feels in flow, what has that sacral watery energy. And it's here for that naturalness and for that selectivity to be recognized and to be seen. And that's the reward for the second line. And here we can see that fulfillment that is going to happen, which is the challenge to find in the evolution, for example. But that happens in the Pearl when it can function naturally in ease and be recognized for that. And then we have the third line. So now we're much more into a fiery solar plexus energy. And here we have the keyword is celebration. And we can bring in and look at the third line in life's work and evolution. Here we have playing with energy and experience. The third line is here to have fun, is here to celebrate. You can also see the Pearl sequence, we speak about prosperity and manifestation. So you can see that for the 1 and the 2, you don't really need a lot of resources, material resources, in order to do this. For the third line, now we're coming up in something where there is interaction, there is celebration. So probably you are going to need, it's a little bit more complex. The complexity of as we go up in the hexagram structure, the complexity actually is more, right? There's more complexity. So here I would say there are some material needs for you to always be able to celebrate, for you to be able to invite those interactions in where you have the resources to celebrate. And there's a totality in the third line. It doesn't really care if it's walking up the stairs or falling down. It's part of life. It's part of the totality. It's part of the celebration. And it has this like comedy and tragedy without judgment. There is a lot of acceptance in that third line. And also think back to the vocation sphere, for example. What is the core wound of the third line? Is shame. And what is the remedy? The remedy is humor. And it's really about that humor and acceptance. I would say it's both. So, and that's also the 25th gene key, the third seal in the mystical teachings, the acceptance and the humor of whatever is. That's the third line energy. And then we come to the fourth line. And here, if we speak about that complexity again, when it comes to prosperity, the fourth line is charity. So here you need even more, because you are here to be fulfilled in your heart. It's a heart energy. You're here to fulfill yourself, serve yourself first. The fourth line in the evolution and the life's work. Can you do what you love? Can you serve yourself first and serve your world through that service? So here you need also more resources in order to be able to nurture yourself and to give back into the world. And it's always this heart energy. The fourth line is about sharing the heart. And it's actually, of course, much more than resources. But I like to tie back that part of the prosperity and the abundance into the Pearl sequence, because it has to do with that and with outer manifestation. And the fifth line, we're speaking about the throat center, the creativity, the solutions that are spoken, the universality, the same thing as we do in the life's work and the evolution. And here, the key, the word for this line is power. So that impact that comes from the throat, from speaking your truth, you could say more than anything. And if the challenge here in your evolution is the misunderstanding. So really in the Pearl, it's like coming into the essence of what your truth is and speaking that, because that is how you're not going to fall down or fall into the challenge of those misunderstandings. And there's also a purity in the pearl. There is a vulnerability. So that's also what would make you not fall into the challenge of what the fifth line has in between the life's work and the evolution. There is really a refinement, you could say, once we go into the essence. That's your signature. So the rest kind of falls away. And then we have the sixth line, and the sixth line is always the even more complex, right? And you could also say for the fifth line that for that kind of power, probably you need to be underpinned with more resources, because that is how you're going to be more universal, be able to touch the masses, which is often what we say about the heretic, the fifth line profile. And then so the complexity as we go up to the sixth line is also what we say is already overlooking to the next hexagram. It's almost like the foundation. It's looking at the foundation of the next hexagram, and it's almost more interested in what's coming after. So here we really have, it's what the name of this line is nature. So here we both have that ability to be be the highest line and to look at everything that's going on and to be that visionary, like the same thing we're saying in the life's work and the evolution, to be the visionary, to be the role model, and at the same time being so connected to nature, being so connected to even before the first line, you could say, even before the grounding, to really have that, to encompass it all and to be one with, it's about unity. It's about being so transpersonal so that you're one with things. So that essence can be, it's always a little bit intangible. When we speak about the purpose sphere, for example, we say intent, or even more precise, what Tim Brainard is saying in his body keys, the sixth line is about spirit. So here is that spirit that goes through you and that anchors you in your essence, and it fuels your essence. But it's not something we really see or can touch. What we can say is that it has all the flavors, it has all the colors of the rainbow, and it's both very tied to the earth, to the body, to the denses, and it has the vision, it has the overview, and it's here to be all that. So sixth line. And a sixth line essence, it's going to always evolve. That's what we say about the sixth line. It's the line of the future. It's always going to evolve. Your essence, your holy grail can change. And it's going to be nurtured when you are one with nature, when you're one with other people. So I hope that this was helpful. And really what I wanted to do with this going through the lines, that I want you to see that even if in the gene keys we have, if we look at another sphere, we're going to have different keywords for the lines. For identity culture, for example, and they are going to be different. Individual, partnership, unit, network. What is the fifth line? Network, society, and it's not philanthropy. What's the sixth line? Society, and I can't remember it right now. So you are going to see in all the spheres there are different keywords. For the vocation, we have the production, we have the marketing, we have the strategy, we have the sales, we have the management, and we have the philanthropy, for example. And you can see that when we look at these, you can also look at them in the chakras. And you can see, okay, where are they located in the body? What's their expression or the grounding in the body? And you can, wherever we go, philanthropy has a lot of that being in the whole of it, seeing the whole. And the same thing, wherever you go, you can see that the lines are completely the same, but depending on what planet, because all the spheres are a planet, depending on what planet they are, they're going to have a different word in the gene keys. But all the six lines are connected, all the fifth lines are connected. So I wanted to show you that, and especially with that pearl sequence, it's so easy to see that the theme of your activation sequence are really connected to this. And especially if you have the same line in your life's work that you have in your pearl, that is it's really showing you what you're here to do. And I would say if you have the same line in your radiance and your purpose, like you have in your pearl, there's something with embodiment that is so important for you, because that essence, that grail, that what you're going to shine in the world, it's actually going to come from it's actually going to come from the activation of the DNA in your unconscious, your soul. It's not so much in resonance with your role. It's actually more in resonance with that radiance, the purpose, the physical, the DNA, the lineage. And then you really want to actually be able to break through into that unconscious part of your chart before your pearl is really going to open up. So everything that you're doing in the golden path, every sphere that you're opening up, that you're unlocking, is going to serve your pearl, is going to nurture the opening of that pearl. So thank you for today. I hope this was helpful.